Champions Mojo is part of the CG Sports Network.
Welcome to the award-winning Champions Mojo, hosted by two world record-holding athletes and health, life, and leadership coaches. Be inspired as you listen to Conversations with Champions. And now, your hosts, Kelly Pallas and Maria Parker.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Champions Mojo podcast. And as usual, I am co-hosting with my sister-in-law, Maria. Hey, Maria, how are you doing?
Hey, Kelly, I'm doing really well. I'm so glad to be here with you today.
Yes. And Maria, today's topic, you and I have talked about so much, and it's so important for all of us. And, you know, we're both certified health coaches. So we are going to talk about the role that stress plays in our lives and how to shut it down, because it is damaging and scary. So according to several surveys, we did the research on this. They're really like the top three things that stress people out are money, work, and poor health. And that can be the poor health of your own body, or you're concerned about someone else's health. Right. And then those are the top three for everyone. And then closely followed by that are relationship troubles. We know, divorces can be stressful, or, separations or anything, relationship troubles, worries about the state of the world, and just general uncertainty causes stress. So This is really a topic we're going to dive into.
Yeah. As you're reading these things, I'm thinking, well, what am I most stressed about? And I think it's uncertainties. What about you?
Yeah. Uncertainties are the big one there, and they can apply to money, to relationships, to the health. So
true.
Uncertainty
just not knowing the future.
Yeah. Uncertainty is the thing that causes anxiety.
Right.
So anxiety is definitely one of the things with stress. So,
right.
Okay. Yeah, so
well, I'm really looking forward to the subject. But let's define stress and how it might look in obvious and also in subtle ways. The stress we're talking about, as we've said, is psychological stress or emotional stress, not the stress we put on our bodies physically. That's a topic that we've talked about before, and we'll probably talk about again. So Kelly, why do we need to shut down stress?
So shutting down stress or getting rid of stress or the effects of stress. So gosh, when we did the research on this, there were literally like 50 things that bad stress does. So right. Let's talk about some of these things, and then we'll talk about, how to negate the effects of stress. But so I'm going to take, let's do a few. I'm going to take three, and then Maria's going to take three, and we'll go through this. So okay. I think one of the top things that everyone is concerned about is weight gain. Yeah. And so stress causes increased cortisol production, which just results in weight gain, and then premature aging and your inability to lose weight or gain muscle. So that's a huge one.
Yeah, that's maybe the worst. That's awful.
Yeah, there are quite a few that it's bad. It also does not allow you to absorb your nutrients. So if you're not getting the proper nutrients, then you're going to be feeling sluggish. You're going to be feeling anemic. You're just not going to have that energy when you're not absorbing your nutrients. And then the third one, again, relating kind of to the gut and how you feel. If you are under stress, your gut flora does not have the correct balance. And when our stomachs are out of balance, boy, that's just terrible. You get all kinds of immune disorders, skin problems, nutrient deficiencies, digestive stress. So those are just a few of the first things that stress does. What other ones are there, Maria?
Well, increase in sodium and fluid retention, which can result in hypertension, of course. This is an interesting one, decrease in thermic efficiency. That means basically we're not as able to burn calories, which of course is nice to be able to stay at our proper weight. And decrease in thyroid hormones, also resulting in decreasing the body's metabolic activity. So those are serious. You got a few more?
Yes. So also it increases our blood cholesterol, which we know is not good when we're talking about cardiovascular events. Again, with cardiovascular, raising your risk of a heart attack is increasing blood platelet aggregation. This is from stress. And then this is a big one for relationships. If you're under stress, you are actually decreasing your sex hormones. So you're resulting in a lower sex drive, lower energy, and a decrease in muscle mass. What else, Maria?
That
I
is
think,
so true.
yeah.
Yeah, we got more. So increase in inflammation, of course, which can result in many ailments, especially over long-term heart disease and issues with your brain, like Alzheimer's. Decrease in gastric emptying time, which is, of course, your stomach not being able to empty, that can result in constipation and also can be a risk factor in diseases and cancers of the colon. Or an increase in gastric emptying time, which can result in diarrhea, again, and washing out some good stuff. So that's not good either. Kelly?
So yeah, I know different people react to stress differently.
Right.
Some people, if you're upset, you're really stressed, you're constipated. And some people, if you're upset and really stressed, you have diarrhea. So it just depends.
Which do you have?
I am definitely the more diarrhea, loose stomach. Like I just, when I'm under stress, I have a really hard time eating.
That's interesting.
And some people, how about you?
I have the opposite. Yeah, opposite.
Yeah.
I would tend to be more constipated. In fact, if I'm not even in a familiar place, I tend to get constipated. So yeah, and also I eat more. So and I don't think that's an unusual reaction to stress.
Yeah. So everybody has a different reaction.
Right.
Then, this one kind of relates to immunity again, which I always worry about with, my skin healing and stuff. But when you're under stress, you're more likely to get food sensitivity. So just like where you may not have, an allergy to wheat, if you're under more stress, this is when bad things come out. So it decreases your immunity. It also your growth hormone. So while you're trying to heal, which is, a growth hormone has, if you're trying to heal from a surgery or an injury or, an illness, you are going to be less likely to heal quickly when you're under stress. And then the last one, which is a big one, is it increases your insulin resistance, which is going to result in unresponsive insulin and diabetes, which is, so there's just 3 more. Hang on. And then we're going to tell you how to negate all this.
You're going to be so ready to want to get rid of your stress. So the last 3 that we want to talk about are the increase in erratic function of your lower esophageal sphincter, which is basically the one on top of the upper end of your stomach, and that causes heartburn or gastric reflux. And you can have an increase in oxidative stress resulting in premature aging, which is, of course, a precursor to many diseases. You do not want oxidative stress, and an increased risk of osteoporosis, bone density loss. So, of course, none of us want any of those things. So let's talk about how we can.
Yeah. Maria, before we go there, you've had like heartburn, right?
Yeah.
Haven't you? Like when you went keto, you got rid of your heartburn.
In fact, that's exactly right. I do struggle with heartburn when I'm stressed, but I find that if I don't eat carbs, it does go away. So.
Yeah. And if anybody is trying to stay young, which I think we all are, not want to be, I always think of how stressful our presidents are and how they go into office as these, like
handsome,
not a gray hair on their head. And then they come out 4 years later and they're just, they look like they've aged 20 years, and that has to be stress. So anyway, now that we have scared ourselves silly with all this bad stuff, let's cover, what we can do there. This is, the name of this is kind of how to shut down stress. So we're going to give you 10 quick tips. I'm going to take 5, then Maria's going to take 5. So the first one is just control your negative thoughts. That when uncertainty creeps in, if you can stay in the moment, it's fine. Right now, it's fine. The second one, and you and I both do this, Maria, is turn off the news. Do a news fast, because that is causing you stress. Meditate or pray all of these are endorsed. All 10 of these are endorsed by all the big psychological association, health organizations. Meditate or pray, exercise, of course, and get into nature. If you just go out into nature, you're going to lower your stress level. Maria, what are your 5?
Well, make sure you get good quality sleep. And we did a whole show on that, but basically that means sleeping in the right temperature, in the dark, and getting to bed at the same time every day is a reasonable hour. So getting good quality sleep, that's something you can really control. And the second one is for me is surround yourself with people that lift you up. That, that's why Kelly and I do this every week, because we encourage one another. It's really important to be in an uplifting community. I love this third one, and it's because it's so easy and it so immediately will reduce your anxiety or stress level. Breathe deeply. We do the, there's like squared, there's all kinds of deep breathing. Basically, it's just breathing slowly in through your nose, exhaling through your mouth, and being very conscious of your breathing. Before I pray, in order to get myself in a mindset for prayer, I do this. I take 3 or 4 or 5 deep breaths, and that just pushes all of the stress out. It's an amazing, quick way to turn your brain from the stress response to a much more smooth, longer brain waves. The fourth one, and Kelly, I know you love this one, and I don't do it as much as you do, but listen to uplifting music. Especially if you're a music person, but even if you're not, we all associate certain things with music, and so if you're feeling stressed, you can totally quickly change your mood by listening to the right music. And then finally, eat foods that are good for you. This is so, again, simple. It's like the breathing. I mean, it's hard to do because a lot of us, I am one of those who, when I'm under stress, I don't want to reach for a carrot. I want to reach for something sugary or carby. And I have to remind myself all the time, when I eat the bad food, it's going to make it worse. But so if you eat foods that are good for you, that's going to reduce your stress level immediately, and also throughout that day and throughout your life. Also watch your caffeine intake. Caffeine increases anxiety, and one of the tips for overcoming anxiety is to lower or absolutely reduce caffeine. I know that I don't drink caffeine except for when I am doing some kind of a race or something. So I love a decaf coffee or tea, but I don't drink caffeine. And I think, Kelly, you don't drink caffeine either.
I don't. I use it as an ergogenic aid.
Yes, exactly.
It's great. It's even better when you're racing and you need to have a little up, or you have something coming up, or you've got a long drive, so definitely, I mean, anybody who's treating anxiety, literally that is one of the first things they make you do, take caffeine out of your diet. So all those things are going to add stress to your life. It's now time for the takeaways. Maria, you and I have heard the takeaways are the best part of the show.
That's right, Kelly, because the takeaways are curated information, which is what we give to our clients when we coach them.
If you would like to take your performance to the next level in health, life, or leadership, go to our website and schedule your free 30-minute consultation.
Yes, just click on our coaching page and book there. We're looking forward to bringing out the champion in you.
And now, the takeaways. This is the time we're going to do our takeaways. So why and how to shut down stress. And we gave 10 in the show, but let's just do, what are 2 that we've talked about that you're going to work on? You're going to try to implement these into your life more so that you can have less stress.
So, I already do a lot of these. I think
I know you do.
I think a lot of, first thing I want to say is that, stress, it's terrible for your health, but it just feels bad too. And, and I think for me, probably the thing that I need to work on is the first thing that you mentioned, which is stay in the present, which is basically just saying, okay, what's happening right now? Am I here in this moment, or am I worrying about tomorrow or next week or somebody else, or, am I, so being in the present moment, just because this is all we have. So trying to be in the present moment is something that I think I could work on. That's one. And the other thing that I feel like I can always work on is eating well, like filling my body with really good nutrients, really organic, fresh foods. I mean, I already pray and exercise. I get into nature a lot. I do a lot of breathing. So I already do a lot of the other things. I probably could listen to more music too. But what about you, Kelly? What are 2 things that you're going to work on?
Yeah, even though we do this podcast and I was a cheerleader, I'm an introvert. I know that's really weird, but
that does seem weird to me. but I guess that's true.
Yeah. I'm much more, I'm comfortable on the inside, like I can be creative and busy on the inside. So I always feel uplifted and less stressed when I come out of a community of people, whether that's like my family, if I do a family visit, or I come out of a swim practice with a bunch of people, or, I know that's been kind of on the back burner with COVID, but now that everything's opening up, well, we finally have a master swimming swimming group in our area here. And so I just love the community, we'll go out for coffee or something. So I really find that when I'm in a community with uplifting people, that is just a de-stressor for me. And then my second one is probably getting into nature. I tend to, want to work on my computer all day, and I can exercise inside. And when you're swimming, we're still outdoors, but it's not like you're directly hugging a tree. Like you live on a farm.
Right.
So
I have a tree, which we call the mother tree, right outside my door. And she, that tree reduces my stress level incredibly.
Yeah. And so Mark asked me almost every evening, honey, you want to come out and ride the golf cart around the golf course with me while I putt or something? And every time I want to like balance that. Should I work or should I go out with him? Every time I go, I like come back and I'm just like, just relieved. So I think getting into nature. So for me, community and nature, those would be the two.
Right.
So we encourage you, if you didn't listen to the whole show, there are a lot of things that we went over that, are scary, that stress does to our bodies. And then these are the, 10 things of how to get rid of stress.
And you can absolutely grow in this area. I think we both have. And so, don't be discouraged. When you hear that scary list, don't be discouraged. Just work on one thing or two.
Yeah. And whether you're young or older, I think one of the reasons we've learned to deal with stress is because we are older and we may have had some, stress related issues. I know that my skin healed better when I was less stressed.
Yeah.
So that's definitely. So anyway, Maria, it's been awesome. Let's take a deep breath and be done with this show.
Go out and hug a tree.
All right. Love you.
Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Champions Mojo podcast with host Kelly Palace and Maria Parker. Champions Mojo is produced by Cabra Media, and a new episode debuts every Tuesday. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. Follow Champions Mojo on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook @Champions Mojo.